Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the TKC vlog. As usual, Geoff, Mr. Orange Juice, is here, and I'm here looking a bit sunburned, thanks to my friend Salvador's wedding, which was absolutely incredible down in Troon, overlooking the first hole on the Troon golf course. So if you want to go play golf, come to Scotland. The weather's been fantastic. And if you want to find out a bit more about what we're doing as a company, this little introduction to the series of vlogs we're doing this week will hopefully tell you what we've done, what we've achieved, and where we're going with it. So, why are we late with Balkan Fury in Madagascar? Well, we're late with Madagascar because, interestingly enough, Corey Mankin, my head researcher, was actually not very well. And I managed for the first time ever to find out a little bit of information about the Coast Defence's Adego Sures. So I contacted him with that. It turns out his knee surgery has been 100% successful. Absolutely fantastic news. And he's back doing work. So we now know what's in there. The guess that I put in is a couple of points too high, so I just need to fix that, and that's that game done. Good news. Balkan Fury. I'm in the process of proofing and completing the at starts. When I say proofing it, we need to put in all the hex locations so you guys know where the units go. And to be honest with you, the rest of the game is in need of proofing as well. That's probably a couple of weeks' work. So the last thing we do in terms of print work before we put it off to print is get the quote for the counters. That was done last week. I sent off the email on Wednesday. They got back to me on Friday while I was at the wedding, and slightly the worse for wear after the wedding, I decided I better email them, and we've got a bit of bad news. Now, the bad news is that they can't get the cardboard the counter's been printed on, so I'm sending them a sample because they're going to look into it, and we're hoping we can do 1200 microns, so that's 1.2 mil thick instead of 1 mil thick, which is one of the things you've all been talking about. So that might take a week or so to fix, but I'm hoping that essentially this time next week, I might have prices. If I don't have prices then, it'll probably be about the same time the week after that. That will fix the game at retail price. It's going to be between 220 and 250 plus VAT, shipped to your door. Here's hoping that we can do it a bit cheaper. I'm also talking with another company about requoting the price to do all the maps, the boxes and all that kind of stuff, because fundamentally, we're in business to compete with our similar businesses out there, and I don't want to be too expensive because I have noticed a lot of whinging about the price of stuff like Barbarossa. So, to be quite clear, you don't get 7,800 counters and 28 counter sheets, 20 maps, 6 booklets with a grand total of about 800 sheets of paper in them free. That unfortunately does cost quite a lot of money to print, and we then have to try and recoup some of the massive costs of actually creating the games for you. That said, we've also had a big breakthrough in terms of the work that we've been doing with the software. Now, as you know, we had problems with compiling code. Bob's now got it decompiling and recompiling in an older version of it, and we finally managed to find a slightly more up-to-date version of the game, which has an awful lot of game logic in it. Now, we are aware of major flaws with that. I'm not going to go into them, but let's just say I don't like the way it works. Some of the UX is really poor, so the user experience is a bit rubbish. And to be honest, we need to tweak the way the presentation works and complete the logic. But that, as of Friday afternoon, because I did get a text from him, is decompiling and recompiling, but won't run beyond a certain point. We know what that is. It's a specific set of libraries in the code are a problem. He's ripping that out over the next few days, and hopefully by this time next week, we'll have a lot of really exciting news about where the software project's going. Now, with Geoff sat here, it's probably quite cool to also mention very quickly what we're doing in terms of the investment stream and how that's moving. So about a fortnight ago, we had Bob Vail up with Andrew Allen, my business partner, to have meetings with Andy Campbell, who is a face in the IT world, to say the least. Andy has now agreed, as far as we are aware, and we're waiting to do the final contract stuff because we've been paying a lawyer to take a look at that. He has now agreed to come on board as a non-executive director, as is Bob. We obviously need to get that deal signed, and it's not a deal until we've signed. But the really cool thing is that will give us a huge amount of impetus to move the software project forward, So it's no longer going to be something that's a 10-year job. It's something we're hoping to achieve pretty quickly. Finally, on the TSWW front, yours truly has been doing quite a lot of work behind the scenes on trying to get Watchtower moving forward while I get other things done. I think you can see we've been running a bit of a sale as well, so please take a look at the website. We've got some really cool bundle deals coming out which celebrate various bits and pieces of the campaigns that were ongoing about this time of the year during World War II. So there will be a bundle with Barbarossa and Hakkapali to celebrate, if that's the right word for it, the operation of the initiation of Operation Barbarossa, and we're going to have something that takes a little look at Midway for you all as well. These are strictly limited, and when they're gone, they're gone. So you want some of our games at a really good price. Take a look once we start advertising it on Monday or Tuesday, and grab them while they're there, because I won't be running these promotions for all that long. Watchtower itself, all the mapping's done. I'm still stuck with US Navy destroyers, so if anyone wants to volunteer, please don't. No, actually wrong, please do, because trust me, it's a horrible job. Anyway, that's where we're at this end. I know that Geoff has been working really hard in between a whole bunch of IT problems when he managed to find out his laptop had melted its CPU into the motherboard and God knows what, but fortunately there was no real data loss. We were able to get the data off, or he was able to do that. So where are we at with World War I, Geoff?
Right, I'm about to look at our good French friends. Shouldn't be too much work. They've got quite a few submarines in the Atlantic, which I find quite interesting, in the Channel. My thinking is basically, no matter how good quality or poor quality the French are, they block off the Channel, and therefore the Royal Navy can use their submarines up front doing other stuff, as you and I have already discussed regarding their pretty proactive policy in the German Bight elsewhere. I've 99.99% got the Germans done now. I literally just need to check one coastal defense flotilla and one submarine flotilla, just get that totted up. I still haven't, I lost a day and a half's work with that laptop melting. Some nonsense with the desyncing on the OneDrive. I just need to redo that. But I'm just at the point where it's sort of a day here, day there. Done, and then I can sit down and do the OB. What I want to do, I'll probably get the French flotilla counters sorted first. Try and get the French OB written up first. Send to you. Check that I know I've got the language right.
Sure,
Then tot up the German OB. Get that sorted. Blah blah blah. The Americans I'll do last. I technically haven't done any American flotilla counter work, but it's like 37 destroyers, 7 submarines at Bunkrana. You know, whatever.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of US Navy. I'm quite jealous. I can't remember exactly what ship I am in the Fletcher class, but I'm about a third of the way down it. Yeah. And given there's 200 and something Fletcher class destroyers built, you know, it kind of gives you an idea of the scope of what we're trying to do in World War II with the Americans. One of the things, by the way, guys, you are going to find is I've had a bit of a whinge from Martin Potts, our rules guru, about how I'm presenting stuff in Balkan Fury. So he's asked me to simplify the Axis OB. That will now be done, because I need to save some paper. You don't need a game at 250 quid with a 140-page Axis OB. That's just completely insane. So we're going to cut it down a little bit in terms of some of the basic information, but I'm going to do a save as when I do that. So the actual game that you get shipped, I'm going to keep that PDF, and as time permits, I'm going to represent it so it looks pretty with all the information that I've cut out, mostly core allocations and so on for Italian units, which you really don't need to play the game because you're going to put your units where you want them, but it's handy to know. And it goes to show the depth that we've gone to with this. I've been asked a little bit about Vengeance. A couple of people have been moaning that we haven't got Vengeance out. I will be in touch with David Hughes in the next couple of weeks, and I'm saying the next couple of weeks. I can't tell you exactly when because I need to speak with him on the phone, and it's not always possible because I know he's a very busy guy. I'm going to go through what he's given me to do with the Soviets. My job for the Soviets, by the way, is to do the Navy ships themselves. Most of that is fairly easy because most of it is laid up towards the end of the Barbarossa campaign. As any of you got the game will know that we do actually basically say these ships are laid up for want of whatever it is that each ship suffers from. That said, we have to take it out to the end of the war. We also have to look very carefully at US Navy operations in the Atlantic, and we're back to Fletcher-class destroyers there, which I just, I'd rather weep than actually think about it, but that's something I want to get done. The Royal Navy file is complete. I have the source. It's just a case of typing that up for Vengeance, and that's that done. The RAF and the USAF in Iceland, you will get that again because you need it. Again, I've got the data for that. It's not a problem. The German OB, other than typing the thing up, is correct and is available and is ready to go. So the reason I need to speak with David is he does the Red Army. I know he's given me a lot of information. Much of that has already been presented in the same way that we're into Barbarossa. I don't know if that's complete as yet. He and I will have a little chat. Once I know, I might ask him to compile all his Soviet data into one file. When we do that, then I'm just typing into it and getting it fixed. We have the radio force, as I recall. I think we've got the bulk of the army, but there's some of the more special stuff, the speciality stuff I don't think we've got. I think we need to look at that. So Vengeance, to a large extent, is pretty much done. Now, in terms of the research, that's a big, big deal. One of the things, though, that we need to look at as part of the development stream on it, and I've already started talking with Corey about this, and I want to speak with David before I draw the line, but it looks like, so you're aware of it, Yugoslavia will have a do not go beyond line on it, and much of the partisan campaign will actually be in liberation. There are very key reasons for that. Primarily, it's the British and Americans, but largely the British, that supported Tito, and prior to that supported Mihailovich. The Russians, the Soviets rather, are too far away to support them. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to leave that to Vengeance. We're going to put it in liberation. There will have to be a do not go beyond line because the Red Army comes screaming in from the east in 1944. As anyone knows a wee bit about the war in the Balkans will understand. That's a key point. The other thing I need to reassess very carefully, I already have the data sets and I think we've got the ratings done and we kind of know where stuff goes and who it is and what it is and so on. But I have to double check the Axis allies that flip side, like the Bulgarians and Romanians. That's and the Slovaks to some extent. That's really important, again, that we get that right. Mainly because you're going to find, oddly enough, that the Romanian army in particular was stronger fighting the Russians than it was fighting the Germans because the Russians took all their captured kit back, which not everybody is fully aware of. So you may have a Romanian infantry division that's got 24 or 48 45mm Russian anti-tank guns in it. Guess what? They lose them. So I need to look at the timing for that and make sure that what we provide you guys with reflects that change. And there may even be some kind of a benefit for the Red Army for that flip-flop and how that works in terms of getting the odd artillery point or whatever that you can spend. To be fair, it's not you really need them as the Russians. I think there's, generally speaking, Stalin just being awkward and saying, that's ours, give it back. So that essentially brings the company briefing pretty much to an end. You know where we're at. Balkan Fury is about to go press. We're just dealing with the last few issues with actual paperwork and so on that we need to do to get the game ready. All the mapping's done. It's been proofed. It's fine. The counter art has been proofed by the team. I just need to do any fixes. Madagascar is now literally in a drawer except for 2 changes to counters. Minor thing that I can do in about 10 minutes. So that's all ready to go. Don't want you to worry. We are here. We are selling. We want you to buy more games. So please support us. And if you like what you've been hearing, down below in the link below, click like, follow us, have a wee chat amongst yourselves. And we'll see you a wee bit in the next 10 minutes or so for Geoff and I, but you guys might get the next video in a few days' time. Thank you again for watching and have a fantastic evening, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.